Glaciers' velocities and the directions of flow. Price examined that in terms of a simple theoretical model, velocities of glacials are predominantly controlled by slope of surface and thickness of ice. In general, ice tends to flow in the direction of maximum surface slope even if that is uphill in terms of the slope of the surface of the subglacial. The rate of movement is proportional to the fourth power of thickness of ice and the third power of slope of the surface. The ice surface tends to be steep when the ice is thin and to have a low angle of slope where it is thick because the product of thickness and the surface slope is relatively constant. However, as many of the physical characteristics of ice rely on temperature, it is crucial to take temperature into account. Two heat sources influences the temperature of an ice mass, the geothermal heat flux at the ice's base and the temperature at the surface. Seasonal variations in ice temperature are not discernible below the first 15 meters when the temperature of the ice varies with the variation in the surface air temperature. Simultaneously, it has been discovered that the temperature in polar ice masses rises below a particular depth. Between the basal ice and the surface ice, the differences can range from 11 to 30 degrees Celsius. Maximum shear strains consequently occur at the base of the ice sheets because the highest temperature and the greatest shear will move more slowly than temperate ice. In very general terms, it can be stated that cold ice will move slowly than temperate ice and maximum shear will take place near the base of cold ice masses where temperatures are likely to be highest. The velocity of glaciers differs from different types of the glaciers, even varying velocity found in different parts of a glacier. The rate velocity of glaciers generally varies with the supply of ice, with the thickness of layer, with the degree of slope and with variation of temperature. The glacier surface velocity measurement across the glacier valley show that the surface ice in the mid part of the glacier travels more rapidly than ice at the edges, just like velocity distribution in river water. The decreased flow rates towards the edges or margins are because of abrasional pull against the walls of the valley. An analogous decrease in flow rate towards the bed is examined in a vertical profile of velocity. Even though the snow continues to pile up in the zone of accumulation area annually, whereas melting eliminates snow and ice from the ablation area, the surface profile of a glacier does not transform much since ice is transported from the zone of accumulation to the ablation zone. In the zone of accumulation, the dominant flow is downward where addition of mass takes place, and in zone of ablation, the upward flow where the loss of mass occurs. The ice crystals enter the glacier near their heads, consequently have an extended path to track before they develop near the finishing point. Conversely, those that are closer to the equilibrium line just slightly pierce the glacier before rising back to the surface. The flow velocities in most glaciers, which vary from a few centimeters to a few meters per day, are comparable to slow rate at which groundwater percolates through crustal rocks. The ice at the terminal of a very long glacier was exposed by snowfall that occurred hundreds of years ago close to the top of the accumulation area. The maximum rate of glacier movement observed in the case of glaciers in alpine mountains. The velocity of the Rhone glaciers recorded as 97 meters per annum, while in Alaska, velocity of glaciers observed about 60 meters per day. Nevertheless, the glaciers in Himalayan mountains comprise a wide variation in the velocity of their movement. The velocity of Khumbu Glacier near the Mount Everest area is 37 meters per annum, whereas in the Karakoram Mountains, the Baltoro Glacier moves with a velocity of 720 meters per annum. Glacial surge. Few glacials travel with rapid velocities than the regular for squat episodes. Most of the glaciers expand or contract slowly in their size as the fluctuations in climate takes place, but time to time some glaciers revolutionize dimensions quickly and in a way that is either not connected or only connected secondarily to climate changes. Such events are called surges. Unusually, they are rapid velocities marked by remarkable changes in flow of glaciers. The glaciers seem to go out of control when the surges takes place. The lower portion of the glaciers often remains stagnant or motionless ice before a surge occurs. As the surge occurs, the margin between ice in motion at the upper valley and motionless ice below slide down glacier with rapid velocities and a chaos of crevasses and ice pinnacles form. During the surges, some glaciers move up to several thousand meters and movement rates measured as high as 100 times as those of regular glaciers and average rates as much as 6,000 meters per annum. Glaciers in United States and in Himalayas of India are with higher velocities as much as 300 meters per day at height of a surge. In such events, the jump from a regular to surging flow occur all of a sudden. In Karakoram Mountains, the Asanabad Glacier surged 10 kilometers in 2.5 months and Kutian Glacier surged about 12 kilometers in 3 months. Few glaciers flow permanently at surging velocities. For instance, Jakobshavn Isbrae in West Greenland fostered by Greenland ice sheet flows at 7 to 12 kilometers per annum. The causes behind the surges occurrence are still poorly inferred. In general, the causes are believed that as accumulation of water beneath a glacier over the years, increased pressures are originated in the water, which leads to extensive separation of the ice from its bed. The prolonged accumulation of ice and snow causes glaciers to grow bulk to unstable proportions. At the end, the glacier surface appears so steep which becomes out of equilibrium. As the critical thresholds are reached and triggering mechanism like seismic activity occurs, the glacial surge starts. The moving ice front may result damages to the economic activities and farms, so the glacial surges are most dangerous. At times, natural dams are created across a stream, forming a natural lake. When the ice melted, water is formed in large amounts, causing the floods. In some areas where surging glacier reaches the sea, dangerous icebergs may form and result hazards for sea transport. Sometimes, reason for the origin of glacial surges are related to the presence of a water saturated layer of sediments underneath the glaciers. However, the cause of certain glacial surges are unknown and under investigation.